if y'all got a room for Miss Burthale, let her know. I could let Miss Burthale stay in my guest room for a night or two. If she good with going up and down the stairs and sharing the bathroom with me, then it's fine. Miss Burthale, she could probably make me some good old apple pie and breakfast and smothered pork chops and stuff like that. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. It's Tuesday night, so y'all know we are talking on Queen Sugar. Okay, this is season 7, episode 2, After a Period, Peace Blooms. I believe that's the title. It's a little bit weird title for me. Anyway, before we get into it all, y'all, please don't forget to click that thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing, and once you do, don't be afraid to drop your name in the comments and let me know where you're from and say hey, and I'll say hey back. Also, don't forget to share and also comment, like I said. So anyway, let's get into this episode of Queen Sugar, y'all, because I still didn't eat my dinner, okay? So anyway, the episode starts off, Aunt Vi, she's scrambling, looking through a box, trying to find an address book. And so then, y'all know in Hollywood, see Vi up to something, he be looking at her like, So then, excuse me, he's like, girl, what you doing? And so then, she's like, I'm trying to find this address book. I'm trying to find Parker's mom. Like, I know her. Like, she would not want this. This is not right. She's like, this is not for the kingdom and the glory of God. Okay, so anyway, he's like, people change, people grow older. And they showed a picture of Vi and Parker's mama together when they were back in their younger days, right? And so, Hollywood did make a good point. We said, people change, money changes, people grow older. She was like, no, I know her. She was like, I knew her. And she would not want this, okay? So then we see, I don't know if they was at Nova's house, Ralph Angel's house, whose house they was at. But remember, they had pulled out all them old tapes, so they were looking at all the old family tapes, and we see a young Ernest Bordelon, and he's got the kids, and he's telling Trudy to get in the picture, and that was really cool to see, and they were like tearing up watching it, and Micah said, the tape is kind of a little bit damaged, they needed her to get it digitalized, and so Ralph Angel was shocked to see his dad, looking so young and everything like that. I thought that was really cool. I like these little glimpses of look backs that Queen Sugar is giving us. So anyway, then Ralph Angel was kind of feeling bad about everything going on with the land and all that kind of stuff. And so, Nova was like letting him know, like, it's not over yet, all's not lost. Like, Dominic down in Baton Rouge, he had a meeting right now trying to help us out. We fighting to still keep this declared a landmark so that they cannot build on the land. So it looks like the Landrys do own the land now, because remember they showed a little flash and it said Landry in the yard. Remember Ralph Angel and Darla had to move. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I get confused with all the land stuff. The Landrys do own the land, however, they don't fully have permission to build on it yet because of it being declared a landmark. Okay, until we get down to the city council meeting, and we're going to get to that. So anyway, Noah's like letting him know we got this city council meeting. We're going to fight for our rights to keep this land popping, okay? In the family, we're not building no city mall, strip mall on it. We're not doing that. So anyway, then we see, and y'all know I'm going to go out of order, but I'm going to try to cover all the main points. So we see Micah down to the photography class that he wanted to join. I believe it's Professor Stevens. It's a black professor, of course. And he's showing all the pictures and talking about how these different pictures, one started a protest, one stopped something from being built. Like, all these pictures, their importance and their meaning. He's like, it's not about the money they make, but like what they, is it more about the money or the movement the picture creates? And then he begins to explain NFTs, and he's like, the most important thing is that the photograph means something to you. So we see Micah taking notes, and then the professor, he's like, we're going to get into the details of what an NFT is, but for now, let's talk about the basics. So I'll be honest with y'all, I was going to do my best to remember what an NFT is, but I done forgot, and I didn't take time to look it up. and I don't want to pause and edit it in and sound like I know what I'm talking about. So if y'all remember what an NFT is, just drop it in the comments for me and help me out. Micah took his notes on what the NFT was because he was in the class. I didn't take my notes, okay? I'm done with school, okay? But anyway, Micah wanted to get into this NFT game. So when the class is over, he talks to the professor and he was like, oh, I really want to get into this, you know. I'm going to be putting some pictures up from the art show at the end of the summer. Like, you think, you know, I could, you know, my art could sell, people would be interested. And he's like, oh yeah, like definitely. And he was like, I'll introduce you to some people and, you know, we can get it popping like that. So then, I guess Kiki is the curator for the art show. He's like, you talk to Kiki. So later on, we see Micah looking at a picture somewhere, I guess in the school, in the hallway. I'm assuming the Professor Stevens took the picture. So then he's staring at it and the professor comes to talk to him. And he's like, really good, right? And then so Michael was showing him some of his work. He's like, got a lot of black and white. So the professor's like, okay, I see you coming through. So he was like, okay, like, you know, you could definitely try to get into the game. And he's like, you need to talk to Kiki. She hooked up with she runs the NFT for him, remember? And she hooked him up with the guy named Zane at some company. And, you know, he said that Zane be pressing him to post all his stuff. And so he's like, Zane kind of slippery, but, you know, Kiki can connect you with him. And so then Michael gives a smile and feels some type of way. And he's like, oh, like, I didn't know Kiki was the one doing the art show. I didn't know Kiki had the connections. And he's like, did she tell you, you know, about... And the professor's like, yeah, and you got to step in. Like, professor don't care about your dating life with Kiki, Micah, gone somewhere. Either ask the girl for the favor or not. So anyway, then moving on. Let's see. Let's get on to Nova, right? Nova was the farm. Sorry, not Nova. We see Ralph Angel. This is where Nova came in. Ralph Angel and what's the girl's name? Mo, the farmer lady, and Darla and Prosper was walking around the land, and the Mo lady was explaining to them about possibly using air for their farming. And Prosper was like, 30 years, I ain't heard of air for farming. And she was explaining how it works and how it could really save them some money. And then she was saying, you know, about it's a good, you know, big community working in this co-op. And she's like, she's rooting for them, everything to go well. And, you know, they're saying it's been a long time coming to get here. She presented them with some seeds from her mother's land, I guess. And she said, my mom, you know, has passed this down. You plant it and then you save the seeds and you pass it down to the next generation. So I thought that was a wonderful, wonderful gift that she gave them. She really likes those people. That was awesome. And so then, you know, Nova and her doing the googly eyes. It's real uncomfortable base. Like Ralph Angel, like, So then she's like, okay, so Nova's like, okay, so you ready for your interview? And I was like, okay, you know, farmers gotta get our shine too. So they decide, you know, they're gonna do an interview. So Ralph Angel, Darla's like, okay, let's go, Prosper. And then Ralph Angel's like, you guys don't need me for nothing else? They're like, no. He's like, you ladies have fun. So then, you know, she's like, okay, girl, you gonna take me? She said she's gonna take her down to the bar. So then, let's back up a little bit because there was a scene with Billie. So y'all know Billie been ignoring all Vance's phone calls. I wonder what is the issue, why she can't call this man back. What is the issue? So anyway, and ain't her kids with him? I was so confused. So anywho, she grocery shopping, I'm assuming, from her during her daddy, right? And so then we see this lady in the store. Now, it's not clicking to me that it's Parker. Okay, did it click to y'all that was Parker? Because it didn't click to me. Okay, so, or I didn't recognize it with that wig on. I didn't recognize it. So anyway, I used to Parker with the straight hair. I wasn't used to that little bell curve wig she had going on with them bangs. It looked a little tied. So anyway, you know, she saw her ignoring the phone calls and she was like, oh, you know what? I was doing that one day, girl. And he was across the street at a cafe watching me. And so then Billie was like, well, he in Chicago. And so I'm think we good. And Billie was like, mine was in New York, so we are safe. And Parker was basically encouraging Billie, like, girl, you need to answer the call. Billie's like, oh, girl, your blazer look good. You looking sharp, sis. And then she was like, I'm Billie. And then Billie was like, you know I need to do this, but I'm scared. And he is a good man. And Parker was like, you need to just do it. You need to rip the Band-Aid off, girl. Make it happen. So then I was like, something gonna come of this. I knew something was gonna come of this, y'all. And we're going to get to it at the city council meeting, okay? So then let's get on to Prosper. So Prosper, you know, he got this date with the nurse bae, because I can't think of her name, nurse lady. I'm going to call her nurse lady. So he got, what is her name, Sandra or Sandy? I think her name is Sandy, okay? So he got his date, and he's like, he telling Hollywood, like, man, she done been to all the fancy restaurants down to the St. Joseph's and the New Orleans and all of Louisiana. Like, she fancy, you know. I ain't know where I could take her. And Hollywood was like, oh, I'm sure whatever you do is gonna be fine. Like, what is she like? What she be talking about? Prosper was like, well, she always talking about she want to go to Jamaica and stuff. And so then Prosper was like, okay, we'll take her to Jamaica. I mean, Hollywood said, okay, take her to Jamaica. Hollywood said that like, we just up and jumping and taking people to Jamaica. Like, okay, Hollywood, just because you got a little money don't mean Prosper got it. He's struggling over here with the farms and the co-ops, and you want him to jump up and take this lady to Jamaica. You better cut it out. You take her to Jamaica, Hollywood. So anyway, he was like, man, I can't afford to take her to Jamaica. Like, get out of here. So then he was like, okay, if you can't bring her to Jamaica, we're going to bring Jamaica over here. He's like, why don't we use the men's spot? Remember, they got the little men's lounge. We're going to make it, dress it up like Jamaica, get it popping, you know? And Prosper was like, okay, he liked that idea. So then later on, we see them fixing it up. Hollywood came with his box of goods, all this cliche Jamaican stuff. And then he's doing that accent with that wig. I was like, this is so wrong. So anyway, then Prosper was like, oh, you need to cut it out. So then he's like, man, thank you for helping me with this. He, you know, I couldn't do it by myself. And Hollywood's like, it's okay. Like, don't worry. And Hollywood can sense that Prosper is stressed. And Prosper feels like he already had a love with his wife, with his ex-wife. And he's just, you know, having a hard time getting back to the dating game at his age, which I don't blame him. It's hard to get back when it's only, when you've been in a relationship for a couple years and then you're single again and got to get back. So I can imagine if, you know, be that many years has passed as for Prosper, right? So then, you know, Hollywood basically gave him good advice about being himself, saying that never goes out of style. And Prosper feels like the dating game didn't change. Hollywood is like, just, you know, she like you, don't worry about it. And then Prosper said he's sweet on him some Sandy. I said, go ahead, Prosper. So then, let's see. We see Darla takes, what's her name? It's not Berta Mae. What is Berthelina? Whatever her name is. Berthelene. Lord, that name. She takes Miss Berthelina and Billie down to the loan people office about the extension. He told me he don't have no papers and no application on site for the extension. Darla's like, oh, you need to run it back and check again. And so then he was like, no, ain't nothing here. And then he was like, you know, I never received it. She's like, I put it in your hands and you told me it's going to be taken care of. And he was like, look, this is, you know, you finna get evicted from your farm. Like, you got 48 hours to come up with $25,000. You know, we got plenty of farmers that will settle in. Then he tried to talk about some reverse racism, about the different laws and stuff. And Darla was like, that has nothing to do with the extensions. And first of all, don't even get me started on reverse racism, white man. But we not finna go there in this video, because I would have to do a whole separate video lecture about why there's no such thing as reverse racism, sir. Anyway, so then Darla was like, no, you need to get together. So then he was trying to say, you know, they want to buy the farm. People want to buy the farm. She's like, no, we're not selling the farm. Get together. So we see the black man who also worked there. He on the side listening in, like, you know. It was giving real, like, you know, black people, we just got this real, like, good way of not communicating without saying anything to each other. It was giving that. So then, so then they were like, you know, you got to come up with $25,000 in 48 hours. This is what's going to be. So then they left, and then Darla was over it. So then, you know, the black man went out first because he was going to tell him something. And so then Darla met him in the hallway, and she was like, you was listening, wasn't you? And he was like, yeah, but, you know, ain't much I could do. He handled all the black cases here. And he's like, I wouldn't trust him. Like, if you can come with that money, because he's talking about getting the sheriff down there. He was like, here, take this card, call this number. Like, I can't talk over here. But, like, basically, he's like letting her know, like, this has been a problem. Like, let me put you up on game. But he couldn't talk right there, right? He had to be on the undercover with it, okay? So he couldn't let the white man know. So then, later on, we see all of them meeting with Nova. Ralph Angel's there, and Prosper's there, and they're all meeting with Nova, and Darla's telling Nova what the man said, like, oh, mysteriously all these, he handles all these black files, and mysteriously, these things, their extensions and stuff don't come through. And Prosper's like, that's the same thing Ralph Angel said. And Prosper's like, oh, see, they trying to get us. The vultures is out. And so basically it's a system set up to dog out the black farmers. Okay, of course. So, Nova's taking notes on this. She about to crack the case. She about to bust the story. I'm over here like, when is Charlie gonna swoop in and save the day? Because we need a Charlie miracle over here, okay? We need Charlie to work her little magic she be working. So anyway, then back over to Vi's Pie's Diner, right? Joaquin was over there, feeling like he doing the best so he can. And Vi was like, oh, I see you over there grinning like a chester cat. Like, what you doing? That ain't what she said, but y'all know what she said. So anyway, he was like, oh, everybody was into my pie recipe. It's sold out. That's all I'm saying, And he was like, man, I can teach you a few tricks, girl. And so then she was like, okay, like, we got a bunch of tourists today, but everybody likes my original recipe. Ain't nothing wrong with some sugar and butter. And then he was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with trying other alternatives. So I'm thinking Joaquin probably cooking the vegan style or the vegetarian style. He making the healthy version of Aunt Vi's desserts, okay? So he appealing to the healthy crowd. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, but y'all know Vi, she gonna do her things her way. And I don't blame her. So then, and Vi was like, how about this? Like, how about you help me whip up a Jamaican feast for Prosper's date, and, we'll go from there. And so then they made it like a deal. And then she's like, and how is your mama? Because, he was like, oh, yeah, because plantains is my specialty. My mom taught me how to make some plantains. I was like, plantains do be good, y'all. So anyway, she was like, speaking of your mom, like, how is she? Did you tell her I asked about her? And then he paused for a minute. You could tell he was lying. They made the music all dramatic, so you could tell he was telling a lie. So then he was like, oh, yeah, she's been working a lot. And then she was like, something's going on. You would tell me, right? And he was like, he's lying. So we're going to figure out what is going on. Joaquin stay lying, but bless his heart. So anyway, let's get back over to Micah. So Micah goes to visit the NFT place with the art and stuff. And he meets with the Zane guy, this black guy. And so he's showing him the art, and he's saying, you only is as good, you only gonna be good to us if you could sell, you can make us money. If you can't, then you wasting our time. He was showing him the little board with the electronics of how the pictures work. Like I said, I didn't write my notes on NFT, so y'all drop it down in the comments. So anyway, he was saying, so we can, see what you're about, like, I'll check out your art. So Mike was like, okay, let me know, like, how can I get down? So then later on, we see, so Micah was at home looking through his pictures, getting it together and stuff, and here Zane come. Now, I didn't know if was Zane invited? Was Zane invited? Or did Micah call him over, say, let's meet? Or did Zane pop up out the blue? Okay. Now, mind you, Zane gave him a drink before Micah left the place. Okay. Then Zane showed up with an alcohol drink, some wine or something, okay? So then, he's like, Micah's like, I really want to get in this NFT. Like, man, put me on, show me what to do. So he's like, slow down, we're going to get to that. Like, let's sit down, let's drink this wine. Let me see what you got. So he's showing him the pictures, and the dudes really get into him. He likes them. So then he shows him a picture with the two black boys and the one head design, their haircut design in the back, right? I'm gonna fix my wig back here while I'm back here, y'all. So anyway, then he's like, oh, is this your boyfriend? So then Michael's like, oh no, that's just a friend. But he was looking a little confused. And so am I, Zane. And so I know something about to happen with this Zane character. I know it. I feel it in my gut, y'all. We know that something about to go down that is not right. That is not right. Zane is up to no good. Professor Stevens said he was slippery, and we about to see why, right? Why is you asking him that? Because he's trying to figure out if he into that, right? That's why he asking him that. So I'm like, oh no, Micah, don't be naive. Don't be naive, Micah. Don't be fooled, okay? So then Micah went back down to the office, and all of a sudden his stuff just sold for $10,000. And so then they all congratulating him. Zane hugged him out, was like, yep, you only as good as your last sale. So, keep it popping, So then So Micah in there, but we're going to see what he had to do to get that painting sold for $10,000, okay? Don't have Micah over here using what he got to get what he wants. Don't do that. So anywho, then let's see. Let's go back over to Nova and Mo, because we didn't finish that storyline. So Nova, you know, she take Mo down to the bar to do the interview, and Mo was talking about how, you know, she's always divided in her cultures. You know, she was never really fully into the Native American culture, and then she wasn't black enough to the black people. Y'all know how I go for the biracial people, right? So then she was talking about how, you know, how she got into farming and all that, and Nova was saying that was really nice of you to give my brother the seeds, and that's like a beautiful tradition your mom started. And Nova was talking about how her mom would tell her about how the girls, I guess back in slavery times when they were getting captured from Africa, they would braid okra and rice into their hair to remember like where they came from. And Mo was saying, yeah, that's how a lot of those plants even got to the U.S. is because of that. And so that was a really cool little history lesson, I felt. So then you know, they just chopping it up. Nova's like, oh, girl, let me get this interview. And so then Nova's asking her questions. And so then Nova got a text from Dominic, like, hey, boo, what's up? And so then I didn't really read the text, y'all, because y'all know I couldn't see it well. But that's pretty much what he was probably saying. So then Nova just kind of put her phone to the side. And then so Mo was like, okay, Nova, so what about you? You got some activity to your garden, girl? Again, she trying to figure out if Nova finna swing her way, right? So then everybody got an agenda this episode. So then Nova's like, oh yeah, I do. You know, he's away on business right now, but you know, it's all good. So you can see Nova thinking, she thinking about sneaking and creeping and linking. But anywho, so that's over, right? So then, you know, Prosper. No, let's get to the city council meeting. So down to the city council meeting, we see Parker with the same wig on. So I was like, wasn't that the lady in the grocery store? Wasn't that her? I was like, wait, that was Parker down to the grocery store. Then they all clicked for me because y'all know I didn't recognize her down to the grocery store in that wig. So then I see she saying that, sat at the same time wig on. I said, oh, that was Parker. That was Parker. She trying to get on Billie's good side. But Billie didn't even realize it. Because remember in the story, y'all, she told Billie her mother called her Imani. So she couldn't say her name was Parker. She was smart. She was smart. She gonna try to use Billie to get to the border loans. Watch. Let me know what y'all think. What y'all prediction is. But my prediction is that Parker is going to try to use Billie to get to the border loans. Okay? So Billie better keep her eyes and her ears open. So then, you know, Parker and her dad are talking. What's the daddy name again? I can't think of his name. So anyway, then we see Miss Vi in Hollywood, and Vi goes up to Parker like, girl, like, your mama, she didn't want this, like, you need to get it together. And then she was like, you ain't gonna tell me what my mama want, Vi. And then Vi was like, girl, like, I don't care who raised you, like, you not gonna disrespect me. So Hollywood was like, come find our seeds, girl. And so then the dad, is his name Max? Mark? I don't remember his name. Anyway, Mr. Landry, the Landry man, was like, Vi, like, whatever this council decision happened, like, whatever decision made, like, we're ready for it. Like, we finna make it pop. And so then she let him know, like, does you think it matters? Like, you've been beating us down and we've been still here. Like, we ready too. Like, we not tripping on you. So then they go into the city council meeting, right? So the city council is like, you know, we going through it with the pandemic of it all. And, you know, we need the revenue from a new, you know, some new corporations, some new buildings, a little strip mall. So, but let's talk about it because this land is also a historic landmark. So Nova goes up and she gives a speech. It's a really good speech about, you know, how the ancestors died from the massacre. What was it? The Tilly Mill, whatever it was called, massacre. And their bodies buried on that land, and her family owned that land, and we're gonna keep it together, the legacy and the history of it all. Like, it was a good speech. So then Parker gets up and she was like, you know, my mom, I have relatives, I got ancestors on that land. And my mom gave me this necklace that she got from her mom and her great grandmama. And I agree with Nova. She's like, I want the same thing as Nova. You know, I want to keep the past together and the future together. And she burst out in tears, y'all. This heifer gonna have a nerve enough to burst out in tears, okay? I said, no, this lady ain't up here crying. She's not up here crying. And she started crying. and said, I just want my family legacy to go on too. And I want to build for the people here in St. Joe. And so then all the people on the other side, when they seen she started crying, they was like, we lost. They seen Parker started crying, they said, we done lost this one, y'all. So then Parker sat down with them crocodile fake tears. And then the city councilman was like, with the, everything, all the revenue loss from the pandemic, we gonna need this money from the strip mall and building on the land. Okay, so you could tell they already want to build, right? So then they take a vote. They're like, all in favor to maintain the land as a historic landmark, raise your hand, say aye. I think only like one black lady raised her hand. Then we knew we lost, okay? And then they were like, okay, all in favor to keep building on the land. Then everybody raised their hand. Even two black people raised their hand. I said, So y'all, we done lost the land. Y'all know something always disappointing gotta happen on Queen Sugar, right? So anyway, y'all didn't lost the land. So then Ralph Angel sitting there looking disappointed. Parker was like, y'all need to move on, let it go. She walked by, she said, hey, Billie. Billie was looking shocked. She over there whispering to Billie, like, did you call him, girl? Billie looking like, oh, hell no. So then, Nova gives Ralph Angel the pep talk. We not giving up right now. We still fighting, come on. So then we see Prosper down to the date with Miss Sandy, right? And they looking good, and they go on to the little Jamaican date, and Vi and Holly were doing this horrible Jamaican accents. Sorry, Jamaica people. So anyway, they got a whole spread for them, and she's like, Sam's like, oh my God, you did all this for me. Like, she was touched. And that was a really, really good, smooth move. Like, have some thought and intention, man, okay? Prosper showing y'all how to have a date popping. So then she gave him a kiss. I said, oh, Prosper gonna get more than a kiss for that day, honey. You prepare yourself, Prosper, for tonight. So anyway, they enjoying their date and stuff. Then we see Ralph Angel at the house. Oh, after they was enjoying their date, there was a part where we saw Nova and Billie sitting down in the back of a truck. They was probably drinking some like Crisco, Cisco, Mad Dog 2020, whatever they was drinking. If they was drinking one of them old drinks, you shouldn't really be drinking no more. Okay, that you way too old for. So they was like, man, this is the only place we used to be able to smoke and drink back in the day. Like, we need to step it up from high school, these drinks we drinking. And so Billie was like, she told me her name was Imani. Billie going off about how Parker pulled the wool over her eyes in the grocery store trying to be her friend and stuff. She said her name was Imani. And so then Nova's like, girl, no. And so Nova's like, why you not calling the dude back? Like, what's going on? She's like, I know he's a good man, but it's like, I don't know. And she was like, you always been 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And like, girl, you need to go on and make a move. Just do it. And she have her own little saying, like, just do it. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Move, making the move, which is good advice. And Billie's like, girl, you need a new little saying because, it's getting tired. And so then Nova's like, I remember growing up, you always talking about going to law school. Okay, I got confused. I thought Billie was a lawyer, or she do something in law, but maybe she's just not a lawyer. Remember, she was helping him with the farm work paper, right? So then she was like, you started talking about going to law school. Like, what happened? And Billie's like, girl, life gets in the way. Got married, had kids. And Nova's like, why don't you still do it? Like, come on. And Billie's kind of like, girl, like, I don't know. And so then Nova was saying, they can do a demonstration on the land to try to halt them building on it. And so Billie's like, okay, you need to take your own advice and make it happen. So then we saw Ralph Angel at home with the baby, looking at old pictures of his dad and stuff and the family when they were kids. And I hear this loud snoring, y'all. And I said, is that baby snoring? So first I thought it was a real baby there, but then when the baby kept snoring so loud, I said, they must have got a little baby doll there, and they didn't play the sound on it, because that baby is snoring way too loud. Like, who baby snoring that loud? Okay, I don't have a baby, and I haven't had one yet, but do babies be snoring that loud? Our baby was snoring way too loud. And so he's like, the baby couldn't sleep. Oh, she is so cute, by the way. And so he's like, I was just showing her all the old videos and pictures to put her to sleep, and it did. So then Darla was looking, and she's talking about how love is so important, and how her dad had love, and everything gonna work out with the farm and all that good stuff. So then Ralph Angel got a call from Prosper and said, you know, everything was going down with Miss Burthale. So I'm like, what is going on? Because I thought Prosper was on a date. So why is he calling Ralph Angel? I was so confused. I was like, did the lady die? Like, is Prosper struggling? Like, what's going on? So then we run over to Miss Burthale's house, or Berthelina, whatever you say her name is, and sheriff's there right there pulling all her boxes and property out the house. And so Darla's like, I'm gonna run over there when I can with the baby. So then Prosper is helping moving boxes, and the sheriff is there, Hollywood is there. He's like, we're gonna come by with some more trucks. We gonna, you know, help Miss Berthelina out. We gonna get her moved. And she's like, they taking all my stuff. Now, I didn't think 48 hours had passed. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong, but did the 48 hours pass? Did Prosper jump up from his date to deal with this? It was so confusing. Because Darla was like, she want to know how the date going. So was it the night of the date or the next night? I was so confused. So then Hollywood trying to, you know, help her get the boxes moved. Sheriff's like, if she don't get all the stuff out, like, it's going to go up for auction. That's what it is. Darla trying to come up there with the paperwork. She got the baby, you know, held her close to her in a swaddling cloth. And she like, look, the thing say this and that with the extension. We got to do this and that. He's like, I don't have no control over that. That's not his business. That's not his jurisdiction. He's just here to get her stuff out the house, okay? And then he said it got to be done this day. So that's pretty much how the episode ended. Miss Berthelina was over there crying with Miss Vi, like, I'm going to get through this. I was like, hope, you know, Miss Vi going to give her a room for the night. Yeah, some mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. Anyway, y'all can tell I'm hungry. That was pretty much the end of the episode, though. We're going to see what continues to happen. Ralph Angel was holding Miss Berthelina, said she cried in his chest. I said, I wish I was her. I mean, not with Eviction, but I could just cry in Ralph Angel's chest because he's so fine. Anyway, y'all, that was it for Queen Sugar. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.